Day for everyone who's patiently waiting. We are still fixing the problem. It looks like our front stage is a little stuck at the moment. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience and thank you for your patience as we're working diligently to fix the problem. All right, looks like we are ready to get started. Thank you so much again for waiting. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a great day so far. My name is Lexi. I'm in charge of business development at Web3Port, and I'll be your host today. I'm based out of San Francisco Bay Area, and it's 7:13 here right now, bright and early. Actually, it's not even bright, it's dark outside still. It's a great day to look at some Web3 projects. Here's a quick introduction of who we are and what we do. Web3 Port is a build tool for Web3 professionals. Our mission is to promote growth of Web3 communities by breaking the barriers between entrepreneurs, investors, and contributors and forming a fair and open Web3 builder network. Community building is obviously at a core of our business, and that's why we decided to host a monthly demo day. For our demo day, we handpick Web3 startups in our network and create a venue for them to present to our top Web3 VCs and investors. Our goal is to help these projects gain market exposure, expand their network, and hopefully obtain resources to boost their growth. Today, we're pleased to offer 7 projects with this opportunity, spanning over DeFi, NFT, gaming, and metaverse tracks of Web3. We have Valere, Change, Loda, Candy Shop, NFT Play, ATP.club, and OrboFi. So each one of these projects went through our standardized assessment procedures, which is our internal due diligence process, and they really stood out from over 200 projects on our platform. So I hope everyone will be as excited as we are about these projects and what they're doing in this space. In the audience today, we have over 190 registered attendees, most of which are our friendly VCs. If anyone in your network is interested in participating in our demo days in the future, either to present their own project or looking for new investment opportunities, please go on our app and register so that we can get in touch with them. We'll share a link in our chat box before the end of this session. All right, so for today's agenda, each project will have 10 minutes to present, followed up by a quick Q&A session. At the end of today's event, we'll also share some information for investors to get in touch with these projects if they wish to discuss further collaborations. So now, without further ado, let me hand over the stage to our first project, Valere. Um, Hello, Kim. Are you ready to get started? Or can you hear me? I cannot seem to hear anything on my end. Are you on mute by any chance? Sorry to interrupt, Kim. I think a lot of folks are saying they cannot hear you. How about this? As since everybody is on a clock today, how about we jump to change first, and then we'll come back to Valera right after that. How about that? Is the change team ready? All right, looks like we are full of technical difficulties today. My apologies. How about Loda? We'll just go down the list and I will come back to Valera and change in a little bit. Is Loda team ready? Silius, can you let Valera back in? It looks like Kim is trying to get in. All right. Hi, Kim. I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry
Welcome
for the
back. No worries.
issue. So yeah, we are Valera platform. We are offering a solution to the one of the biggest problem currently exists in the crypto world, the counterparty risk issue. So we all know we see a lot of times that a token got stolen. We see a liquidation, false liquidation. It's huge counterparty risk. So we offer solutions that option can be settled online on chain. So which totally eliminate the centralized exchange risk. At the same time, we're using Ether 2.0 technique, which effectively reduce the gas fee transaction charge. Let's go. So we all know from traditional finance point of work, the derivative market has a much larger notional than the underlying cash market. That's where we are trying to target. So we offer retail client as well as institutional client a platform that they can trade on. So let's go. Yeah. So the fundamental for platform is basically it's vanilla exotic option trading, which forms the backbone of the whole platform. And then on top of that, we build option combos, put call spread, straddle, strangle, risk reversal. And then we have a derivative index like VIX index, combination of fund market, supermarket. So we have a Oracle protocol that we have all the centralized order book that match the order from buy and sell effectively without involving any gas fee upfront. Then once two orders are matched, we brought the order on chain to settle. So once it settle, the exchange is totally out of the picture. So in this way, we can we can get rid of the counterparty risk because everything becomes on-chain now. So we have the vanilla option, XRT option as a fundamental. Then on top of that, we have the volatility analytical tools, which is more catered to the institutional client or professional trader who look at more of those derivatives like skill, carry, funding level, straddle position, etc. Then on top of that, we build a fund supermarket where fund manager can create their tailored product, like a different kind of strategy, carry trade, stats ARP, then cater that to the investor who is interested to subscribe those kind of product. We bring the end user directly with the fund manager, makes the business easier. Yeah, this is a simple cost spread 2 times with a short in the underlying. This is one of the strategies that a user can subscribe to. So we do have a order match engine that match the order before it's settled on chain. So in this way, we bring low latency to the option trading. And then we also have a request for code protocol that investor buyer can request for a code for exotic option, which does not have a good liquidity. Then the market maker, when seeing the request for code order, they can respond with the proper pricing. Yeah. So the advantage of the platform is low latency, low fee, and then lower counterparty risk once it's settled on chain. Yeah. We are working on the margin trading side right now. So right now we are 100% margin, which means there's no leverage. We are working on a protocol to bring margin to the option trading, which can get more exposure for market maker and for investor as well. So we have a complete ecosystem that people can trade option and trade a combo product. And then there's auto matching, which reduces the latency. And then we have the exotic option product, a more complicated combo that people can bring in the vault. Yeah, this is a comparison of different market structure in terms of latency and efficiency. Those are the current market players. So we have a team from different background. We have people from traditional finance. We also have tech guys from crypto world. This is a hybrid team. For example, me myself, I work as a market maker for index options since the subprime crisis. So there's a deep understanding of the market that there's much more demand for derivative than the cash market. Whenever there's a market volatility, people look for derivative for hedging, which help protect their downside. And people try to buy a call when market has a much better upside. This is our team players. That's all for the slides. We are open for questions now.
All right. It looks like we don't have any questions. I'm going to give it 1 more minute. If anybody have any questions about Volair after this presentation, please feel free to drop them in the chat box so we can do a quick Q&A here.
Yeah, sorry for the delay beginning of the slides. It's a
Oh,
big
it seems
rush.
like today is just a bad day for technology.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a question from Ryan today. He asked, who are the individual users of the platform?
So individual users, we try to connect end user from retail client to institutional investors. So institutional investor, they focus a lot on the counterparty risk. They have more compliance to follow. At the same time, retail investor, they're looking for a place that they can leverage up their portfolio. At the same time, try to get away from credit risk as well. So we are the middleman that connects the two ends. Yeah. We also have market maker that try to provide liquidity to hook up the two. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, Kim. Looks like that's all the questions we have on Valer today. We will share the contact information and the slide decks after the event today. So feel free to either reach out. We can also shoot out a mass email if needed. I think there was a question about that earlier.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for your presentation today. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Next up, we have Change in the queue. Change is a non-custodial cross-chain wallet. So let's see what they have for us today.
Application is a
Can you help me switch the slide? Host, can you help me switch the slide? I cannot switch the slide myself.
Yes, I think there's a delay. 1 second.
Okay, so everyone can hear me, right?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, so my name is King, and I'm the CIO of Change. So today I'm going to introduce you what is Change and what Change can do. So Change itself, as you said, is a non-custodial cross-chain wallet. And currently, we believe it's the most liquid Web3 trading venue in a decentralized way. So first, let me show you price compression. On the left side is what our price code in Change. And on the right side is the price code in Y-inch. So Y-inch is the most popular price aggregator, and they offer a good price in the market. And let me show you two examples. The first example is for a stablecoin USDT to USDC. With 20 million swap in our app, we can get 19,998,000 USDC. In the Y-inch, there's 19,996,000, which is 2,000 more, which is about 1.1%. It's not a big number because it's a stablecoin swap and the amount is not that big. But let's see the second example from the USDT to ETH. With 20 million, we can swap 15,110. In Y-inch, there's only 14,850. There's a 250 difference, about 1.6 to 1.7%. This is a big number in a swap difference. So how can we do this? How can we do better in Y-inch? Let me tell you this. As we know, in a DEX swap, the price is determining how deep the pool is. So in Change, instead of Y-inch, they can aggregate on one chain. We can get liquidity on different chains. Currently, we support over 30 chains. That's why we can get liquidity from, for example, Curve, Uniswap, SwitchSwap. They are swaps on different chains. And on non-EVM swaps, the DEXs like Ethereum, like Orca, we can aggregate over 70 billion liquidity in the market. That's why we call ourselves the most liquid Web3 trading venue. So the next question is, how can we use all the liquidity together in our app, in our DEX? So here's a small logic graph we can do. After user get a code from our Change app, when they submit an order, we can help users split their orders into different chains. For example, with 20 million USDT, we probably would to ETH swap. We probably can put 10 million USDT on the Ethereum to trade on Uniswap, SushiSwap, and the other amount, for example, 5 million on the Avalanche, on Pangolin, TraderJoe, etc., and probably on other more chains. After all the swaps are done, the amount of ETH returned to the user. And this is actually the screenshot of what the user can see in the app. In this example, you can see the order is breakdown into different chains on Polygon, on Binance Smart Chain, and on Avalanche to give user the best price. So why others cannot do the cross-chain swap like us do? Because we have our own cross-chain bridges. Currently, we support over 30 EVM and non-even chains, for example, like Solana, like Algorand. They are not easily supported in other cross-chain bridges. That's one of our advantages. Second is because we have supported so many different chains. Literally, we can trade thousands of tokens in our app because we can aggregate the tokens from those DEXs. For example, if you only have assets on Ethereum, we can help you buy some Solana without crossing your assets to different chains and deposit your Solana on your Solana wallet. On the right screen is how the assets is allocated on my wallet, and you can see with Ethereum, with USDT, we can support over 20 different chains. And in our app, there's no hassle to switch networks or wallets in order to do a cross-chain swap. So it's very convenient. Let me show you how we can actually do in our app. Host, can you help me switch to the video? Yeah. So here's a demo of how we do a cross-chain swap. In the beginning, you can see my assets is distributed on different chains, on Fusion, on Tron, on BSC, and on Algorand. But in a swap from USD to USDT pair, you can see I can use all the amount at once in this trade. That's one unique feature of our wallet too. So yeah, I'm going to go forward. After you submit a swap, you can see there are different hashes. The first several hashes on the cross-chain hash during this automatically in our app from different chains and cross-chain to Fusion and Go Fusion to the target chains like Polygon, like Avalanche. On the screenshot currently is the cross-chain hash. In several other protocols claim to be cross-chain swap, we actually help users to distribute their assets on different chains instead of do a transfer assets and buy a token. We help users find the best price to buy the token. After all the hashes done, you can see all my USDT is swapped to USDC. Yeah, see the transaction is done. The video totally is 5 minutes long, and without the introduction and etc., the entire cross chain from different chains to one chain and do the swap into different chains takes about 3 minutes, which is really, really fast. Host, can you switch back to the slide? Thanks. So in short, Change is wants to be the most liquid trading venue and wants to be the one-stop shop for users to swap tokens, because users no longer keep lots of different wallets, and it's a non-custodial wallet to trade all different kinds of tokens, and we always give the best price to trade. All right, that's it for now. Any questions?
Presentation. We have a couple questions here. The first one is, what is the basis for judging the time and price of exercising the put options?
Put options.
Yeah, that's
okay.
What they asked.
So that's another feature in our app which we don't want to emphasize on today. We will emphasize on the cross-chain aggregated swap feature.
Okay, sounds good. About that though, we have another. We haven't. Oh, sorry. That's my bad. I just got. Um, I have another question for you guys. It says, does your team allocate your own capital in different chains to enable cross-chain exchange?
Yes, in the beginning of the project, we have assets on different chains at the starter capital. Later on, when users starting using our app, so there are assets already on different chains for to the cross chain. We don't need to add more capital.
Cool.
Because users' money on chain A will be used by some other users. We basically just move the money around.
Makes sense. Thank you very much. It looks like that's all the questions we have today. Yeah, if there's any other follow-up questions about any of our projects. Oh, sorry, there's one more that just came in. What is the current user promotion mechanism?
So in the beginning, we give users our tokens. We have released our tokens called Change. It's used for universal assets. How to motivate users to come is we motivate users to deposit assets in our DEX and using our app for token rewards currently. And in this bear market, we believe it's not a good way to spend lots of money on marketing. We are working on the 2B business. We release our SDK, want other projects to integrate our cross-chain and the cross-chain swap SDK to get more users for us.
Thank you. There's another question about the bridges that you have integrated with so far. Like which ones have you integrated with so far?
So we currently only integrate our own bridges. We build our own bridges using the DCM technology, which is also used by AnySwap and the Phantom bridge.
Thank you. All right, moving on. We have another question. It says, if one of the execution fails, will the orders be partially filled, or what happens after that?
So if order failed, the assets will be returned to the original, like where the money come from. So once the partial failed, the transaction amounts will be sent to our Fusion chain, and you can cross any asset from Fusion to other chains without any problem in a minute. The failed ones will also be returned to the original one.
Makes sense. Here's another question from KuCoin Labs. What type of private key authorization method should be obtained from the user during the transaction?
So yes, that's a good question. Because our world is designed in different way than, for example, MetaMask. Our app can control the private key, just keep the user's private key for all different kind of wallets. So when user do a cross-chain swap, probably into different wallet to sign, but in our app, you only do a one signing to sign all the transactions necessary for the entire transaction. For example, you type a password, it's actually sign 10 different transactions for different wallets. Instead of MetaMask, you need to click 10 times.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. And we have a few more. What kind of bridges are you using for cross-chain swaps, and how do you ensure the security?
Yeah, we build our own bridges, as I said. And how can we assure security? Currently, we haven't been hacked so far, and using the DCM technology, because in cross-chain, we think the security matters in the major risk is in two aspects. First is the private key. How can you assure private key not leaked? Second is the smart contract logic problem. Because the DCM can solve the private key issue, because when the Minter account is generated, the private key never generated. Actually, it's generated and sharded into pieces into different nodes. We ask other miners to control. So it's similar to a 51% of the consensus. When all the validators think it's a good transaction, it will assign the transaction together to authorize the transaction. So the private key will never be leaked, because no one knows what the private key is. Second, yes, we don't use smart contracts to authorize cross-chain transaction. We ask validators to run different nodes. For example, if I want to do a Ethereum to Solana cross-chain, the validators have to run 2 EVMs and the Solana ones at the same time in a same machine. So to authorize a cross-chain swap, to author a cross-chain transaction. Therefore, there are no smart contracts needed.
Mm-hmm. How do you solve? We'll just do one last question. Sorry, guys. It's just we have a schedule to adhere to. But how do you solve the problem of gas fees of different chains?
Yes, that's a good question. We use our token as called universal gas. So users don't need to deposit all the gas into different chains. They only need to use our tokens to do the cross-chain. There's an option in our app. You can always pay gas by change.
All right. That's all the questions I'm going to ask today. I think there's a few more, but we'll pass those on after the event so that you can get them answered. Great. Yeah. Thank you very much for the presentation. Good job. Thank you. All right. We are going to move on to the third presenter today. It's another DeFi product, Loda. Do we have Loda on the queue? Here we go.
Hey guys, how are you? 1 second. Can everyone hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Perfect. Well, yeah, it's nearly 2 a.m. here, so sorry if I'm a little bit laggy, but yeah, thanks for everyone coming out, and the first 2 presentations have been fantastic. How do we do this? So basically, the thesis from our point of view is quite clear. That we think that uncollateralized lending will be the biggest theme in DeFi moving forward, in spite of what's happened, in recent times. And I think that what's going to happen is a lot of the verticals are going to change. So we've seen a lot of enormous success from some tremendous protocols. A lot of that text is quite small, but obviously Maple, Clearpool, TrueFi, all of these venues have done incredible jobs. But I think that what we're going to start seeing and what we're really focused on is expanding the DeFi user base by looking to get money off chain into scaled loan books. So if we look at some of the statistics that are coming out, Morgan Stanley are putting out a lot of statistics on alternative lending at the moment. 4 out of 5 Americans who've never defaulted yet do not have access to prime credit. So the goal from our inception has always been effectively that the sweet spot is essentially right now blockchains do one thing really, really well, and that's pool and port liquidity. Right now, though, there are not enough venues, there's not enough users, there's not enough protocols for us to expand the use cases beyond the power users within the DeFi ecosystem. And this has led to, super concentrated loans and has obviously led to a lot of destruction in recent times. In order for us to sort of work against this, or in order for us to mitigate risk, we need to expand the actual users. Now, I think there's a misconception that for a DeFi user to be a DeFi user, they must be using MetaMask. I think that we can actually work a lot smarter than this. So just some broad macro stuff. Again, Morgan Stanley's reporting a lot on this at the moment, and we'll go into that. I can send the reports to anyone if they're interested. But effectively, off-chain, we're seeing an enormous growth in alternative lending. Alternative lending being defined as non-bank originated loans. A lot of the reasons for this are not just to do with, capital, traditional metrics, but it's to do with the fact that a lot of these neo lenders and neo banks are actually finding edges and provable edges in their underwriting. And that's not to say they're using different data; they're just pulling out different. They're pulling out different outcomes. I probably don't have enough time to go into what a lot of those edges are, but some of the easy examples are looking at what times people spend money, making assumptions on what those times are, if the person gambles, how often they eat out, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of these things have never been part of the traditional underwriting process. So as I've sort of alluded to right now, we think that blockchains basically do one thing extremely well and do a lot of things potentially well in a future gazing statement. So the sweet spot, as I've sort of alluded to, is that, right now we have, an ecosystem that understands that we can pull money. We can pull it, we can send it cross chain, we can do lots of different things, but there's only so many venues and only so much demand. There's only so many market makers, there's only so many hedge funds, and basically the money starts getting incredibly circular. And we've seen the problems where this happens with this sort of environmental stuff. So essentially, when we start looking into what are the themes and what have been the themes in more traditional finance, we can see that with the growth of alternative lending, there is effectively been a capital shortage as well for a lot of these loan books. Now, when you marry these two things, you realize that, effectively, blockchains are extremely good at pooling money globally. Now, when you look at these loan books, whether they're in Mexico or Australia or wherever, a lot of the time these loan books are being capitalized by private equity, and that private equity is usually nationalized, meaning they're trying to source money from within their own country. The other added external sort of threat here is that a lot of the conditions on these loans are incredibly predatory, such as warrants on the entire business if there are late payments, and a lot of this is just antiquated, legacy financial traps, so to speak, which are not too dissimilar to basically loan sharks or things like this of this nature. So we believe the sweet spot is effectively connecting pools of liquidity in DeFi to true yields from hardened markets, which are already proven themselves not just in the size of the loan books, but in their ability to, accurately and consistently predict default rates within a standard deviation, which is quite predictable, and in a lot of cases generate yields that are very attractive even before you begin to even talk about anything like inflationary token rewards or anything like that. So as a result of this, Loader will not be in any rush to launch a token, not because we don't need one. It's actually critical to the infrastructure, and I'll get into that in a second, but because we believe that first and foremost, this is a money market that can work very effectively and very profitably without the need to basically attract money to the protocol purely through inflationary rewards. This is a quote. I won't read it out. You can all read very well, but from the managing director of Morgan Stanley. They're getting more and more vocal on this exact theme. They're putting out material. I think the last time they put a report out was about 6 days ago. And it's becoming a theme that they are being very openly bullish on. Another sort of interesting thing, and again, I probably don't have time to go into this, but we've got collated research. If anyone's interested, please reach out. If you look at a lot of the existing really, really successful uncollateralized protocols that exist in Web3 at the moment, one of the obsessions that both users and VCs alike have is this idea of TVL as opposed to monthly revenue. And often that disconnect comes from the fact that some protocols basically have an expiry or a maturity on these loans, whereas some of the protocols that are actually making more money, month on month, require these loans to be paid, partially month on month. The reason most loan books work like that is not simply just to de-risk the loan, although that's part of it, but it's basically an economic dialogue that happens between creditor and and the protocol or lender in a traditional sense that allows the two to communicate in a sense of knowing what the health of that loan is. The moment, obviously, an interest payment is missed, that's an automatic stress test. So it's very, very important. The beauty of lending to loan books specifically is not only are they easy to underwrite, but because they are paid monthly, the protocol is paid monthly. I've sort of touched on this, but yeah, effectively, the same point exists, and a lot of this can be analyzed very easily on June Analytics, but feel free to reach out if you would like any of that research. Look, at a glance, this is how our system works. Effectively, we have 3 critical pools. One is a junior. I mean, this isn't rocket science or even hugely dissimilar to a heap of others, but effectively we have 3 contracts, which is a junior pool, which takes the majority of risk on each loan. Then it's the first loss pool. We have a larger pool, which is the senior tranche, and we have an insurance pool, which effectively works in combination with the junior pool to defend the senior pool. That all sounds really complicated. Basically, it means that there are 2 pools that will the junior pool basically earns the highest yield because it acts as first loss capital. The insurance pool, which will use the loaded token, is an active staking pool, i.e. tokens can be slashed and sold into USDC to reback the loans. And then in very, very outlier cases, some of the senior pool the similar thing can happen as well. But the whole idea is that all money, or basically all pools, are designed to defend the senior pool, which is the lowest yielding pool, but the largest pool of money. So again, that probably sounds like mumbo jumbo, but I can send you the deck and we can run through it. Here it's a bit more simple, but effectively, this is just the run through of a borrower submits the loan and pays an origination fee to the protocol. The junior pool must reach 20% of that to fund it, which becomes first loss capital. And then the success fee is captured. And then, yeah, it's all pretty much there for you guys to read. The value accrual of the token, we've worked quite hard on this with a lot of our sort of existing investors at the moment, but effectively, not only does the loaded token capture about 20% of all interest fees by acting as sort of the backstop in the insurance pool, but the other added benefit is that you cannot vote on the protocol unless you are staked. So what happens is effectively you stake the token into the insurance pool. This then mints a non-tradable token, which is the only way that you can vote. Voting works in a depreciating way. So the more time that you're staked, the more time remaining in your stake, the more voting power you have. And this is to act against sort of voting manipulation. The reason we link those two is because effectively, without holding the loaded, one, we don't think just holding the tokens enough to vote in any protocol, but two, it forces people to not only own the token, or forces people who might be participants in either the senior pool or the junior pool, or both for that matter, to actually, if they would like to participate in any sort of governance or changing of fees or whatever it might be, that not only do they have to hold the token, but they need to stake the token. What that means, game theoretical point of view, is they actually have to strengthen the protocol just simply to vote. So it makes it very, very difficult for people to manipulate governance, which is something that we've seen over and over again become an issue. This is a simple, we actually, to be honest, I should bring this up. This was actually a proposal put forward by, or a very similar proposal put forward by, I can't think, but it was put towards DXDAO and it was actually removed. And one of our investors put it forward to us and we thought it was very clever. But it's a simple, just a simple matrix in terms of how to generate governance voting power in a depreciating way, meaning again, to restate, the longer you have left, the more power you have in a voting sense. These are some of our existing investors. I have no idea if I spoke too quickly or too fast. It's quite late here, but yeah, I really appreciate all of your time and capacity. Please screenshot this this screen here so you can get in contact. And yeah, I hope some of this made sense. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for the presentation. Let me see if there's any questions in our chat section. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them either in the chat box or the comment or the Q&A section of this presentation. I know there are quite a few places to log these.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lexi.
Oh, here we have a question from Mint Ventures. The first one is, the uncollateralized loans is mainly designed for retail borrowers or institutional borrowers?
Yeah, so we will never borrow directly to the customer for a few reasons. One, it becomes a much harder underwriting task, and two, it becomes a much harder regulatory task. We believe it's a much smarter route to both scaling, but also to just the protocol functioning, to loan directly to the loan books. So if you think about, say, a scaled loan book in Mexico, that loan book will have all the required licensing in that country, in that jurisdiction. They will have all the required underwriting abilities and all the required basically debt recovery, resources in place. What that allows Loader to do is just become essentially a decentralized credit fund where these businesses are the ones that are actually generating leads and are actually doing all the work. And Loader just becomes another source of capital to basically plug into really successful businesses. So the idea is not to generate millions and millions of loans directly through Loader. The idea is to actually have as fewer counterparties as possible, but to have these counterparties be, deeply vetted, and with having large borrower demands that comes from, an established and hardened, loan book or provable loan book. The other benefit of basically lending large amounts of money to loan books is that they then split that risk into tens of thousands of customers rather than making concentrated bets. This again allows for like a standard deviation of error, which is very predictable over any given time with loan books. So yeah, to go back to the top, we think that basically loan books become a really, really desirable place to port money because of all the reasons mentioned.
Yeah, it makes sense. We have a few more questions actually all along the same lines about
cool.
your credit model. Like how do you quantify the risk of lending? Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So we are basically working, quite similar to most of the Web3 uncollateralized places, but we're working with obviously Credora. They're good friends of ours. We're also chatting with some other groups. In say like the Maple model, they use orthogonal, and they use Maple, and they use Maven and other groups like this to basically work as another additional layer. We're good friends with both those groups of people, and we've spoken to them about that. But in my mind, I don't think that we'll need to do that. And the reason why I don't think we'll need sort of additional validators or like centralized validators is because I think it's much, much easier to underwrite a loan book than it is, say, a hedge fund or a market maker. And the reason for that is because it's a lot more predictable in all weather. You're not relying on funding rates. You're not relying on market conditions to a certain degree. Obviously, if you have an extreme portion of your book that defaults because of something, well, then that is a market condition. But that should be factored into actually how the underwriting process takes place. The point is that when you look at loan books over a long enough time, and again, this is the we don't want to be working with startups or or new loan books, we only want to be working with established loan books, is it becomes quite easy to underwrite them, because as they write more business, they should, because they get paid monthly, their money that comes back in for their loan should increase month on month. If it doesn't, it means that in order to get new business, they're actually taking wider parameters in their underwriting, and this starts to come through. So basically, as their default rates widen, you can it's basically by connecting to their APIs, and you can check the money that goes in and the money that goes out. It's very easy to work out in real time how profitable these loan books are. So that task, those APIs basically get connected to Credora, and Credora is just constantly pumping out a health of their loan book. So in that sense, it's going to be really interesting and really exciting for us, because it's not static underwriting. A lot of underwriting that happens in banks today is all done, as you've seen, across Twitter and it's all static underwriting. But using things like Credora, and there's lots of other products in the market as well, it's no longer using static underwriting. You're basically looking at the business in real time as money comes in and as money goes out. So yeah, that's how we're planning to do the underwriting of these large loan books.
Very interesting. We have a few more questions, but we're just going to cover one more due to time constraints, and we'll forward all the other questions to you after the event, if that's okay. So the question is, the main lenders of Maple Finance are just market makers like Tower, Element Research for the KYC pool / credit lending. What kind of other lenders are you targeting for the credit lending and uncollateralized loan section, and how to get higher yields for your users in the bear market?
Yeah, cool. Good question. So effectively, we're targeting a completely different vertical. So while Maple, and to be honest, Maple are good friends of ours, really smart people and great protocol. I can't speak of them highly enough, but they are specifically focused on very much Web3 market making, very, very correlated markets. I think it's important, and probably something I didn't highlight in the presentation, that our primary focus is to lend to uncorrelated markets, uncorrelated from crypto. And that's for very obvious reasons, but it's so that, basically if you have a situation where Web3 is lending in, Web3 is borrowing, and then you have some sort of, backstop that's also based on a native token, when the markets come down and the yields come down in DeFi, well, then the whole book's under pressure. What we're looking to do is work specifically with scaled Web2 loan books, some of which have really, really expensive costs of capital for different reasons, obviously to do with varying risks. All of the loan books will have different costs of capital. But for example, like a loan book that we're speaking with in Mexico has a cost of capital right now of 22%. Now that's a true yield of 22%. Their default rates of 8%. And they have about 500,000 customers, and their average loan size is only $50 to $100. Now that seems like a really crazy model, but it's super interesting when you dig into it, because you realize that it's effectively a product designed to help people build a credit score in Mexico. So a lot of people, I don't want to say unbanked, because that's sort of this, silly concept from 2017. Not silly, but a much overused topic. But the point is a lot of people that don't have access to traditional credit scores at all. So there are a lot of really, really interesting products happening, particularly through Latin America, particularly through India, where the cost of capital on these products is really, really high. So through basically tapping into these markets, finding them a different avenue for capital, an avenue that's not as caveat heavy as borrowing money from private equity, the true yield is actually quite high and comparatively high to DeFi, without any sort of inflationary tokens being required until there's an environment for it that makes sense. So I guess this is what Morgan Stanley's talking about. There basically are opportunities for true yield at the moment in alternative lending markets, which are comparative to DeFi. And the key is not tapping into every loan book in the world, because most of them are really poor. The key is actually finding the ones that are really good and actually have an edge on the market. And that's actually the biggest task for us, is working through who is the best people to onboard. And so if there are any investors listening to this that have a good understanding of the traditional landscape as far as alternative lending, please reach out, because this is by far the biggest value add for us right now, is working out who to onboard. And from our point of view, we want to limit the counterparties as much as possible, and we want to find great loan books that have huge borrowing demands, so that we don't need to keep taking on this additional counterparty risk.
Makes sense. Thank you so much for answering our questions. We'll forward the rest of them to you after the meeting, if that's okay.
Of course. And thank you so much for organizing this, Lexi, and the whole team. Yeah, I'll let everyone move forward, but please screenshot this and send me the questions if I didn't get time to answer them. Have a really good day. I'm going to go to bed. Thanks for everything. Take care.
Thank you for getting up in the middle of the night. Yeah.
No, I'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye. That concludes our DeFi section of the demo day today. We're going to move on to NFT now. So let's welcome Candy Shop.
Guess what? Hi, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Cool.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, thanks, Lexi. Thanks for organizing this event by Web3Ports. Happy to introduce our team's vision, our team's member, and also our product, Candy Shop, to all of you listening to the presentation. Let's get started. Our vision is quite simple. So what we are looking to do is to give full-service, customizable, and self-owned marketplaces to all Web3 participants and content creators. So one of the observations that we have is that NFT marketplace is an important part of the brand experience. Brands and creators really want to control how their brands is being presented, how the NFT utility is being integrated in the marketplace, and also sometimes also integrate the marketplace into their metaverse or the game or the ecosystem. But now, if you look at what's in the market, we have OpenSeas, Magic Eden, Variable, etc. Those are like supermarkets of NFTs. It poses a challenge to all these communities if they want to be want to arouse more brand awareness. So a similar analogy is Shopify versus Amazon in e-commerce. And in a nutshell, we want to be the Shopify for NFTs. So what's the opportunity there, right? In 2022, the transaction volume for NFT is $50 billion. And with a 50% growth rate year on year, hopefully the market can grow up to 380 billion in 5 years. And if you take our analogy just talk about right now, Shopify versus Amazon, Shopify's GMV is 50% of Amazon. Let's be conservative here. Let's take only 20% of penetrations of creator-owned marketplace in Web3. And that's 80 billion transaction volume. Assuming that we have 1% take rate on the volume, there's 800 million revenue opportunity for Candy Shop. So why us, right? Shopify for NFT has been out there for quite some time. We are not the only team that's doing it, but I believe that we are the best team to execute it, be able to be successful in this area. We have a really diverse team with Web2 and Web3 expertise in the market. So let's talk about myself. So I'm Anson, and I am the CEO and co-founder of this team. I work in the investment bank for over a decade, and in the past few years, I get involved in Web3. And I was the risk manager in Quill.com, and I was also an early member of Phobal, which is a validator a quite successful validator in in the Asian market. And my co-founder, Ru, CTO of the team, he is the vault architect and engineer in Crypto.com. And before that, he was working on custodial solutions on blockchain in Hashtrust. So we got the tech, we got the business. And also, we are able to assemble a team with all-round capabilities, with engineering, business, product design, background from experience in the career, Binance, Crypto.com, Morgan Stanley, NVIDIA, and other tech unicorns. We are the team that if you think this idea or vision, opportunities flies, we are the team that you should bet on. And that's actually proven by our early supporters with Lattice Capital, Serum Foundation, Conlist, and some of the executives in Binance and Solana. They invest in us early on this year. And we are able to win in the hackathon in Serum 2022, a few months ago. And also we are also picked as one of the candidates in Conlist Seed event in summer 2022. So the product, Candy Shop. We want to build an all-in-one self-service marketplace solution for the Web3 NFT projects. We have 5 major areas we want to deliver the best solution to our customer. First, we want to make sure our platform is built for all use cases. We offer currently an SDK is intuitive to use and can allow advanced integrations with ecosystems or websites and so ever. And then we are developing a local solution for people with less technical skills to build their own NFT marketplaces. And it's not just building, it has to be very fast. So from the start to launch, you can operate your marketplace in kind of default setting in less than 30 minutes. And on top of that, our user will be able to customize their marketplace using either from the aesthetics or the settlement currency or trading fee, which if you look at this, none of these are provided by any of the current centralized NFT exchange. And on top of it, we are going to be cross-chain. We have a live solution that is in the mainnet for Solana already. It's running. And we are working on our solutions on Ethereum and Polygon, which are the EVM solution. And we're also looking at app tools and also potentially chains that is built by Cosmos SDKs. And lastly, we'll add features that is NFT specific, utility specific. For example, we have collection verification, we have auctions, we have addition mint. And I'm sure that when the market get more creative on NFT utilities, we'll be very quickly turn around new functionality to support them. I have a video on this page, and unfortunately, having it printed as PDF and shared here, I cannot show it to you. But literally, if you get on our production website right now, candyshop.space, you can just sign up with your Phantom wallet or Solaz wallet, and then put in the name of the shop, pick the settlement currency, and then answer a few questions on your website, etc. And then boom, you have a code snippet that you can place in your own website, and then you have an NFT marketplace running on your website. This is an example that is a pretty good music NFT marketplace produced by Boombox using our technology. They're specifically using addition drop feature, allowing a piece of music to sell a few numbered copies of it over the website, over the marketplace. So we have been live in Solana in April. And then 2 months later, we add auctions. And 3 months later, we add addition drops. And up to now, October 2022, a few months after we launch, we have 150 shops on our platform, 12 1,000 listing already, 600 plus auctions, 330 plus addition jobs, and 2,780 unique wallets that's interacted with our solution already. And we are working on EVM support, credit card payment, no-code solution. Down the road, we'll support more chains as we promised, and we'll also issue a token that will enhance our governance of or the ownership of our platform with all our users. This is a list of some of our users. So some of them, we as we start the platform, we talk to our users. We want to understand what they need, and these are the platform that's been using us, and they're happy with us. And I'm sharing their names here. On the first row, these are quite a big NFT communities that are active in Solana, since we are on Solana right now. And the bottom ones are quite interesting. These are more a niche market for NFT. First one is Forial. It's actually a beauty product company in Sweden, and they contact us and they use our technology to sell charity NFTs on their products to promote their brand. And we also have Luxurious Watch using us, IoT platform using us. So in a way, we are penetrating Web2 and Web3, which is our strength because our team is good at both worlds. Touch upon the revenue model. So currently, we want to grow our transaction volume, grow our user base at the moment. So we are not charging anyone that's using our platform at the moment. And what we are charging are the trading fees. So for any NFT transacted on our platform, we charge 0.8% on the settlement amount as our fee. And we will be launching our credit card payment feature, and from there we also kick a cut, and I hope that will help boost our revenue. And down the road, when we have a more all-round solution with a lot more features, then we can look into charging subscription fees on a SaaS model. And for no-code solution, we can charge a small amount on our creator communities where they want to run their shop with very little monthly fee. That's something that we are looking into as well. So yeah, that's pretty much for my presentation. I encourage any of you who would like to look at our product, go on our website and really use it and try it out and give us feedback. And for anyone who like to invest or to partner with us on anything, welcome to contact me. Using our email or contact Web3Port as a bridge as well. So thank you.
Great. Thank you for your presentation, Anselm. I don't see any questions on my end at the moment, but since we're already running a little behind on schedule, do you mind if I forward all the questions and a context later after the event, if there's any?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I will stay in touch after this meeting and we can forward any questions there might be. All right, so let's move on to our other NFT projects. Today, it's called NFT Play. Do we have NFT Play on the queue? Here we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you just fine.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you.
Anyway, let's start. Okay. Hello, everyone. We are the core team of the NFT Play project. Our goal is to dig around the utility of the NFT, empower the NFT project, and make a holder's NFT more cool, more fun, and more valuable. And in the fourth stage, we choose the NFT display as the entry point. The goal is to allow holder to better show their NFT in the real world. Let's go. How to what are user need for NFT? The easier way for user to participate in NFT is to speculate. The second is to show off as an identity. and show consensus on an NFT culture. Ultimately, user demand for NFT is to help improve the efficiency of social value capture. That is to play a role in a social and business connection. Achieving this requires users to interact more fully with NFT. We believe that exploration based on playability can enrich the interaction. So for user side, show and play are two utility core elements. And let's go. What are the needs of business users for the utility of NFT? Commercial projects require ongoing crowd attention capture. To achieve this, we need to make effort in three aspects. One is effective exposure. Exposure can increase the popularity of the project and bring attention. Second, more abundant occasion, especially for Web2 users. It's necessary to attract them through practical features. The third is the lowering of the threshold. Therefore, we conclude that show and play are the common pain point and the entry point of our project. Yeah. Well, and let's go. It's our Gen 1 product. And for the first generation of our product, we choose to cut in from the digital NFT frame, which mainly has several core features. The device needs to be linked with the wallet to display the NFT that have the ownership in the wallet. Yeah. And the second one is not only the picture and video content of NFT are displayed, but also the NFT metadata can be displayed, including name, description, holders, creation, and so on. The third, at present, the NFT frame support the picture, video, audio, and animation. Through the app, you can easily select your favorite NFT you want to display and set the slideshow. And we're also cooperating with some NFT data service providers like NFT Scan, NFT Go, and Go Plus to display the NFT financial data. Okay, let's go. Here is some influence teaching about our NFT play. Yeah, our first one generation is the smartphone. The technical structure guarantees several core difference between us and traditional frame. The first one and the important one is that we can display NFT only after the wallet connection is confirmed, which fully reflect the verification of the ownership. And the second one is the device keep NFT metadata update and in real time through the network on the blockchain when the user NFT is sold. And the display on the device automatically terminate. Yeah. So the last one is it is a really, really smart device. It will introduce more new features through the OTA update, which is really exciting. Okay, and let's go. Currently, our business is developing around two lines: blue chip NFT project and NFT artists. For the blue chip line, we cooperated with Web3 art institution to create exclusive popular product based on the logic of violent beer. Currently, we are trying to customize for BAYC, MAYC, and Azuki, and we will cover other blue chip projects in the future. For the artist line, we choose KOL on Instagram and offline contemporary artists, and we help them distribute their artwork to NFT. And user can choose their favorite NFT while purchasing our smartphone. We also help Web2 users buy their first NFT collection in a familiar way by adopting a cloud wallet solution. Through this method, we can reach the high-end crowd and finally establish the brand. Okay, let's go. And was just our 1.0. Yes, it was just our 1.0. We divide the project stage into 1.0, 1.5, and 2.0. In the 1.5 stage, we will explore a new business model around showing part. The entry point 1, we will use picture frame as the core attention capturer. After gathering traffic, we will start exploring the advertising business model and paid display model, live focused media. And the entry point 2, for NFT user, we provide DIY tools, including base editing, AI drawing, and one-click generation of NFT. And the second generation of product is another important part, which mainly focuses on the exploration of play. First of all, users hope that the NFT display can be further integrated with offline social networking. So the second generation product need to start with wearable device. In the trial design part, we plan to make an Apple Watch size screen. A user can use option accessory to DIY into watches, necklaces, or badges. In the software part, we will explore from two aspects of social and business connection. In terms of social networking, for example, in the future, user can use the second generation product as credential to attend meetings. At the same time, user can show their own NFTs through the device. User can also touch each other and add friends through their device, which can also generate new NFTs to record real-world interaction. In terms of business connection, the original POAP can only issue badge based on on-chain behavior, and we can issue badges based on the real-world behavior records. For example, if we found that someone had gone to Starbucks 3 times a week, and we can issue him a coffee lover badge. At the same time, it can also be combined with GameFi based on geographic location and drive online-offline interaction. And let's go. And the most important thing that we think that we hope to build an ecosystem of NFT utility. And our first and second generation are all user case. We will build a developer community later to build the ecosystem together so that more projects can be helped to launch better products. And in terms of marketing, we carry out both business user and retail users. On the business user, we have been effectively exposed in many offline space and NFT exhibition in the Asia Pacific region. On the C side, we start from both inside and outside the Web3 user and have successfully cooperated with thousands of platforms and NFT projects to achieve multiple benefits. Let's go. Regarding the operation part, we currently issue our utility NFT pass to users who purchase our products. Not only can they enjoy many benefits such as invitation, rebates, but more importantly, they are the pioneer of our ecosystem. We also will release 1155 NFT fragment around the pass. It can be used to obtain many ecological benefits. Here is our roadmap. And here is our core team member. Our core team member are long-term entrepreneurs in Web 2 and Web 3. In Web 2, we did the earliest exploration of creator economic and obtained C-round financing from IDG, Sequel, and Tension. In Web 3, we met the world's first LTC miner. We create the popular hardware of crypto. It called Wonka Cloud. And we also build the world's largest cloud computing platform, Newbit, also known as OXBTC. Our team has been in the crypto industry for many years, and we all NFT enthusiasts. This round is our first round of financing with a valuation of 15 million US dollar, and we expect to raise about 1 million US dollar. And this round is equity financing. In the future, maybe we have a token financing plan. Yeah. That's all. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you for the presentation. Let me check if we have any questions about your project in the comment section. 1 second. Looks like we don't have any questions today on your project, but if there's anything else, I'll be sure to forward them after the event.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Let me move us on to the next project. The next one up, we have ATP Club.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm Ethan, and let me start. Can you see my screen share?
Yeah, it works.
So, we are building a sports metaverse, and let's first watch a product video. A player only needs a mobile device and their body to control its unique avatar. The pose, movement, and any motion of avatar are fully identical to users. By controlling this avatar, player can participate in various sports games like boxing, dance, and fitness. Our low latency 3D motion capture technologies allows great interactiveness and multiplayer experience. For example, the video constantly showing our dance videos. Different users can co-dance together, and the avatar is controlled fully by the users. So it's more like a multiplayer Just Dance. So on this platform, two kind of values forms the basis of our economy system, which are popular content and good behavior users. First, we can use AI algorithms to digitize sports content. It only needs a normal video, and we can turn the video into your fitness course. We can turn your fitness course choreography into NFT. This NFT can be published on our platform and enjoyed by player. Of course, creators will be incentivized in the process. And here's the example on how to create a fitness NFT from an online fitness video. Since it's abstract motion data, it can be used in any kind of fitness game on our platform. And second, we developed the proof of workout. On our platform, the only way to mint ATP token, which is our utility token, is through actively engage with content and do the workout. We can take our boxing game as an example. Player have to punch and avoid obstacles to score. If he's being lazy or punch speed is not enough, only small amount of token is minted or even not any. Besides, this is not just a game. Its intensity is comparable to a 5 minutes high-intensity workout, and user's heart rate can quickly go over 120. So it means player is using his sweat and burn calorie to earn the proof of workout. More importantly, with this technology and mechanism design, we ensure the supply of token is proportional to users' real fitness activity and their attention value. So by now, we have achieved the two most important things of sports metaverse, which are fitness content NFT and the proof about workout. When players are doing authentic fitness activities, part of minted token will go to creators who provide the content. We want the supply of currency and the number of content assets on platform to go together because minted token represents users' overall attention and fitness value, while the assets represent the prosperity of content ecosystem. We are building a flywheel of more and better content to attract more user, and more user attract more creator. Other than the mentioned motion NFT and proof of workout, we have two additional mechanisms designed to help us to achieve this goal. Now, active player and popular content creators are incentivized and are holding ATP tokens. We don't want them to sell their token directly. We hope they can participate in governance and also further incentivized. Their tokens are the only way to mint passcard NFT, which is required for new user to enter our sports metaverse. In this way, we are giving us the rights and benefits of user groups to so-called good behaving users. Second, we designed the Space NFT. Space NFT is more like a showcase for different sports content. A space can initially hold one content, but it can increase capacity by merging other less popular space. Besides this, user can burn their token to support a space to increase space exposure, and the space will be ranked higher to let more users to see it. Also, supporters will be rewarded part of the space revenue. It's more like a content investment. And in the meanwhile, the rights of content striking will be given to the community. So by now, I've talked about the vision our project want to achieve and how we design tokenomics to help us. So let's see this. Just one more to share. Dance will be our first fitness game for closed beta. It's just like Just Dance, but all tracks and dance are produced by creators. User can control the avatar and create dance video together with friends. Some of our friends who are dancer or Just Dance users have been creating their dance genre with this game. It's really fun and socially engaged. So since time is short, and that's all I want to share about our products and tokenomic designs. Let's see if you have any kind of questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Let me check what kind of questions we may have. Here we go. What are the token consumption scenarios to achieve deflation? I think, yeah,
so,
here we go.
Yes. So first, our token is only minted by users' authentic fitness activity. Just like I talked, just as an example, in this boxing game, if user just holding their hands and not doing fitness activities actively, there's no way for the system to mint token because our motion capture algorithms knows users' full body 3D movement. That's how in the token mint stage, our token actually captures the user's value. And for the consumption part, there's the passcard NFT. If a new user want to join our metaverse, he have to buy passcard NFT on secondary market. But where is the passcard coming from? It's only minted with the ATP tokens. So in early user growth stage, new users' entrance will be the main consumption for the token. And also in a later stage, our space design and the ability for user to use their token to support their favorite content, or they want to invest in some promising content, this mechanism also will introduce additional token usage and token consumption. Besides what I talked, there are other means. For example, as user plays the game, there are going to be some treasure box, and there are some modular avatars we designed. User can use their token to open the treasure box, but that's just different kind of in-game purchases. I think the two main token usage or consumption will be passcard NFT during the growth stage and space NFT and users endorsement activity.
Great, thank you very much. Another question we have is, how do you prevent cheating in your ecosystem?
Because we are using cameras and computer vision and deep learning technologies, it's extremely hard to cheat. It's not like for example, Stepan, they are using IMUs and GPS, which are really low-dimensional data. In our cases, we have the images. So we know if user is doing exercise and how intensive he's doing the exercise, and if he is doing the right pose on the right time or he's not. So computer vision technology is extremely hard to hack. For example, we are daily using, for example, facial recognition to unlock our phones and for different payments. I think it's the technology's characteristic intrinsically solves the cheating problem.
Great. Sounds good. We have another question about the devices. What devices do we need to play your game?
It's just a mobile device. We can see from the video, you just need a mobile phone or iPad or anything with a camera and some enough computational ability. You can use our games.
Very
The
convenient.
additional, it's just the additional thing is like projector or TV is just for a better user experience, just for display. But the capture and sensor and computation, we just need a mobile device.
Makes sense. Another question folks have is about your NFTs. Could any NFTs be used in a metaverse, or could users buy any specific NFTs in your ecosystem?
Yeah. First, user have to buy a postcard NFT and they have to activate it to enter our metaverse. After activation, this NFT gonna be so bounded, it's not tradable anymore. And second, if you want to be a creator, you can. It's not creator; it's like a curator. You have to buy our space NFT to compose different fitness contents to display it to users. And third is our avatar NFT. I didn't write it here, but because I don't think it's the main part for our sports metaverse. But we have a modular avatar, 3D avatar. It's kind of like a Clone X, but user can change different accessories and hairs and use it in our system. Since it's a sports metaverse and user wants the avatar to be cool, and it also has some kind of multiplayer experiences. I think they're gonna buy some avatars to just be different. And that's the three main NFTs I talked about.
Great. Sounds good. These are all the questions. Wait, hold on one sec. I think we have a few more. Nope, that's it. That's all the questions we have. Yeah, that's all the questions we have. I think there's a disconnect on the platform, so I'm getting new prompts. But thank you so much for presentation and answers today. And thank you to our VC guests for asking all these great questions.
Yes, thanks.
All right, we're moving on to our last but not the least project of the day, Orbo-Fi.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you. How's it going?
Very well. It's actually barely 9 a.m., but it feels much later.
Yeah, but you've been doing a great job coordinating all that.
Appreciate it.
Share my screen real quick.
Yep, the stage out is all yours.
Awesome. There we go. Cool. Hey everybody. Hope you're all still feeling great. So here for Orbo-Fi, it's a little bit different. So it's, you know, that there are a lot of games out there, a lot of Web3, Web2, a lot of metaverse platforms. We have taken things a little bit different. We've been building it for about a year and a half. But pretty much in a nutshell, that's our vision for Orbo-Fi. And that's what we've been building. It's the WeChat plus Roblox of a Web3 metaverse. And I will be explaining the synology down the line of, you know, why we are putting this synology and this combination, just for people to properly understand and digest what is Orbo-Fi. But in a nutshell, we empower people to create their own virtual worlds, whether user-generated or as well as algorithmically generated. So we use a lot of algorithms to generate virtual worlds, and it's pretty much just one of our main, I would say, it's strength. In terms of utilizing a lot of different machine learning models and just procedural generation words, so that we can enable people to just support them in creating their own virtual words. But at the same time, we enable them to create as well their social tokens. And that's one of the main combinations, is that a good analogy is that imagine if every WeChat channel or every Discord server or subreddit had its own virtual world and its own metaverse and its own token. And it's part of our vision. And our pretty much our thesis, that we believe that in the very, very near future, every community and every individual, every brand will want to have its own metaverse space and its own token. So we're pretty much tokenizing not just individuals and communities and brands, but also tokenizing social pools and social graphs as well. Pretty much, and that's our mission, is that we want to connect the world in real time within virtual worlds in the metaverse through social gamification and social tokenization. And through this kind of model, through this kind of proprietary social NFT standard we've created, we are creating and deploying new metaverse markets. It goes way beyond trading regular JPEGs or trading regular collectibles. It's literally trading social pools and trading literally networks and social graphs as well. So pretty much the market that we are tapping into is the 2.5 billion people who use chats, social networks. From a developer perspective, we are tapping into the 40+ million game developers, whether they are utilizing Unity or Unreal. So pretty much our tool enables them to just deploy, and we are enable them and just empower them with our AI to just support them in terms of building virtual worlds. And I think you've seen everything, with the text to image prompts that DALL-E or the Stable Diffusion and all that has been going viral. So we've been doing this for some time. For us, it's mostly about turning it from text to 3D. We'll talk about that down the line. But in a nutshell, like, these are the superpowers that we are empowering people with. Very, very simple. Like, number one, easily create your own virtual space, whether you are an individual, community, or brand, where you can invite your friends, your fans, regardless of how many followers, how many members you have. And two, tokenize yourself, tokenize your community, and just enable them to be part and take a stake in your individual or just like your community. Of course, every world-class vision, the world deserves a world-class team. So for a little intro, so I'm the founder, currently based in Dubai. I've kickstarted my career in San Francisco in the Bay Area, then moved to China 2017. That's when I got into the NFT space. And with Epic, we were actually one of the first teams to work on NFTs back in 2017. Back then, there was only CryptoKitties and a few others. So my co-founders from Ubisoft, our core functional developer is in ex-Microsoft. In terms of our advisors, we do have heavyweights in the gaming industry as well as in the NFT industry. So let's just say, Darren Smith, he was the ex-director of Nintendo US. In terms of partners and brands, literally these are all the folks we could fit in. But we do have a bunch, and that's one thing we're really good at is business development. Besides our level engineering talent, we are onboarding literally some of the most renowned celebrities and brands, and this is basically how we are kickstarting mainnet use cases, and how we literally going for mainstream adoption through these kind of collaborations and featuring. So pretty much so I'll be sharing the deck down the line, like later on, if you guys want to digest it properly. But a good differentiator here is that the way we operate our virtual world is that it's a bit different. It's like literally decentralized also from the infrastructure layer. We're not utilizing AWS or any centralized cloud providers. We are utilizing decentralized compute and decentralized storage for that. In terms of how we are differentiating ourselves, so you can see here, and these are the orbs, virtual worlds associated with their own social tokens. Any individual or community can do that. In terms of the that's what I mentioned, is that we enable procedurally generated virtual worlds. People can tokenize them. In a few clicks, in a few commands, you can generate your space. So a lot of work in this regard. And then, yeah. So in terms of, let's just show you real quick. In terms of, let me just go back here. We're still fixing the UI. This is literally fresh. Yeah, so that's our tool in terms of creating a social NFT. And you might wonder, like, what is the difference? Is it a JPEG? No, that's pretty much it goes way deeper than that. And pretty much we are solving a major problem in the NFT and just in the general collectible space, which is the lack of social interaction and the lack of, I would say, how we can amplify social networks and just, the kind of, just boost social networks and social graphs. Pretty much here, the main difference is that our social NFTs, anyone can create them in a few clicks. But pretty much instead of holding a regular JPEGs where the metadata is just an image, here you hold with it a social pool. So here we just created like internally some of them. We by the way, we conduct regular community testing sessions. Let's go to here, for example. One of our devs created it. This is like just for testing purposes. Here pretty much is that a second problem that we are solving is the lack of incentives and the lack of, I would say, revenue share in the NFT space, and everyone is complaining about that. And we believe that within a decentralized community or a decentralized individual and social profile, there needs to be a system and a model where people can own a piece of that profile, a piece of that community, and just a piece of that individual. And basically here we are implementing it. All can be done in a few steps. Pretty much here, it's all, by the way, it's all OBI based as of now. Oops. So it's all OBI based as of now. Let me just start it before we get into trouble. So you can mint testnet, free testnet OBI right now. So far it's deployed on BNB chain. We are working closely with the BNB chain team, and we will be deploying on Polygon as well. So yes, we are multi-chain, and it's just part of our ethos of dominating multiple chains and just like deploying social tokens and social NFTs, particularly within virtual worlds across multiple chains. So the pretty much really interesting model that we have here is that the incentive model. Like here as a creator, you will never be able to retain all the revenue and all the sales that you'll be creating. So pretty much we have a rule that we call the 70-30, meaning that maximum that a creator can earn is 70%, and the rest will go to the rest of the holders. A giveaway supply, meaning that in a few clicks you can decide here what is the giveaway supply. Let me just connect. I can do that later. But what is the giveaway supply? Meaning, and it's compulsory, is that you need to provide a percentage, and that will go as giveaways, airdrops, so just like free mints. And basically here, to put on a good analogy, that imagine if you are building or creating a Reddit or subreddit or Discord server, a WeChat channel, and you want to kickstart and just invite people, right? And here is a good mechanism for people to utilize their own social NFTs to come and like, hey, come join it. I am giving it for free. Just like come mint it, claim it. And it just creates it's a marketing tool, an embedded marketing tool for all community creators, individuals, influencers, or whatever, regardless of the type of individuals here. So if you go back, for example, here, the other element that we are still implementing, so it's going to look a lot different in about a month, as we are enabling people to just literally import their WhatsApp groups, their Telegram groups, as well as the WeChat groups as well. And just it creates that social network, just like social boost. Here, pretty much you can see all the holders that are holding the same NFT. So also the main change that will happen literally also this week is that you won't be seeing just like regular addresses, but you'll be seeing actual usernames, their interests, and the regions. And going back to what we mean by social gamification, is that connecting the world through social gamification, is that connecting the world means connecting people that have the same interests and people who, total strangers coming from different countries, different backgrounds. And this is pretty much how we are enable them to just explore, discover, and connect through purchasing, through acquiring social NFTs and joining metaverse spaces. And by the way, what you guys see here is actual environments that we built ourselves. And DM me later on if you want to play, utilize it. We'll send you the demo so you can check it out. Some of them are actually user that we created. Some of them are actually, it's a combination between procedural generated, computer generated, and human generated as well. Each word with its own token. And going back to the social gamification is that we are implementing a model that we call a socialized level up and earn. And the reason why is that it's an uncharted territory in the blockchain space. And we strongly believe that this is the next iteration of adoption. Put in price, it goes way beyond the move to earn and all that. This is a way bigger market with a proper use case, especially if implemented properly. So I've mentioned earlier that we work with a bunch of brands, a bunch of celebrities. So the first ones love to talk about is Danny Trejo. So I don't know if you guys watched the movie Machete, but he was the main star and he's very well known in Hollywood. So we've been working with Danny for some time, and he's actually the first use case we are launching. We will be one of the main characters in one of our words. And pretty much we're also coming up with his own social NFT. So the rest, as well as Elvis Presley and some selected NFT communities. So we own the licenses and the rights to these. And I mentioned earlier that we're beyond our engineering. One thing we're pretty good at is our biz dev. And the reason why is that that's personally what I've been doing since 2017 is putting brands on top of video games. and tokenizing their collectibles. So these are just some of the people and celebrities and brands that we are onboarding within the next 6 months. We are started with Danny Trejo, Doja Cat, and Triller. Each use case with its own virtual world and its own social NFT. So you can imagine the kind of cascade that would create once all of these people are actually having social NFTs. It's literally that will be creating a cascade. So for Triller, it's an app that literally has more than 100 million downloads. It's pretty much like a TikTok rival that we've partnered with. We've integrated already in our metaverse, and we are organizing a pretty amazing event soon with 50 Cent. I don't know if you guys are. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with 50. But we are as well creating his own virtual space and as well as a virtual concert in his own space and his own social NFT. So you could assume and just imagine the kind of reach that we have through these kind of collaborations. Also, one thing that we enable is that just like the ease of building and just like customizing virtual spaces. And all of these are all of our collectibles are AR and VR enabled. Pretty cool, and we use different aesthetics. And what I meant earlier by as a social metaverse, of course, we need to focus on real-time communication, if not even like not real-time, but we enable real-time video chats, not just text messages, and just like makes the whole community space like every orb pretty cool. And of course, people who can join the experience need to be owning this any respective social NFT. As a summary again, a social NFT enables people to hold a social pool. So this as well where we capture value from. So 3 different layers and more to come. So social tokens, so far social NFTs, and we will be deploying social tokens are as ERC20s, and that's when things are gonna get real interesting. The reason why we started with the NFT standard and we had to recreate this standard and implement social features and just like tweak a lot of the metadata system to include not just user data, but as well as social networks within a particular NFT. But ERC20s will enable game developers and just particular advanced game developers to create their own customized words and the customized economies. Same concept as well. For the scenes and collectibles, there's also one layer where we capture value from. Scenes and collectibles that anyone can create, that we create ourselves, and that are procedurally generated. Going back to the example and to the statement where there is now the text to image prompt using AI, whether from DALL-E or Stable Diffusion. There's also an open source system from Stable Diffusion, and we are working with the team, as well as like a bunch of other researchers. Some are from Google, some are from Stanford and Berkeley as well, where I used to live. But pretty much turning text into 3D models. And this is basically the other layer where we capture value from. And the main feature is that enables people to just populate their words and their community spaces even more and way easier than ever thought before. The land is obviously another layer, but for us, it's not a priority. And then we expect that the majority of the revenue that will be generated, as well as the revenue that individuals, communities, and brands will be coming from these 2 big architectures, big layers. So to go straight forward to some of the interesting stuff, more so the aesthetics, we use pretty cool stuff. Some are web-based, some are actually. So we have 2 different versions. You can either download the app or the web app, or you can utilize it directly on your browser. Some of our current stats, because we're also utilizing and approaching different environment artists to help us out. So we do have about 26. So this deck is a little bit outdated. We actually have a lot more now. But pretty much we are getting a lot more brands, a lot more just like people in our reach. So far, we have about 40,000 people on our wait lists. Looking forward to creating their social NFTs and looking forward to try it out our metaverse and create their own spaces as well. In terms of the products, so we have we're in the process of consolidating everything into one product, meaning that in one product where you can access the social NFT creator as well as the metaverse layer, and it should happen all within this month. As a lot of these use cases, that are brand new use cases that we're deploying are coming very soon, which is quite exciting. and that will give us like really really rich. So and that's exactly what I mentioned earlier about empowering game developers to build up advanced virtual worlds with their own social tokens, but those social tokens are ERC20s. And the reason why is that we did not start with this the ERC20 standard is that we are still figuring out a way to retain all the liquidity within OrbifY. We don't want people to create their own ERC20s and just like go to Uniswap to trade them. We want to make sure that all the volume is retained and is incentivized as well by people building OrbifY, meaning the communities and the individuals. So that the communities and the individuals building virtual worlds, utilizing ERC20s, and as well as their members and the holders can as well benefit from that volume through that revenue share that we have, but we will be implementing a different system. So all of our collectibles are AR and VR enabled from the get-go. We all know the metaverse is really not just a hype. It's happening, and it's happening very soon, and it's upon us. So we are quite confident that we'll be leading the way, at least in a very social focused and just social focused and a very social gamified and branded as well ecosystem. So pretty much here, just like details, token utilities. So I've mentioned earlier that so far the only way to actually purchase social NFTs is with OBI tokens, pretty much, and that's the whole market here. The whole social NFT market will be traded against OBIs for now, or down the line against native tokens such as BNB and Polygon. But we'll put the main priority here on OBI tokens. Any kind of collectibles, any kind of social NFTs will be purchased with OBIs. And yeah, I'll share with you the deck so that you can take your time with it. So in terms of our revenue model, so pretty much the main one is our community social tokens transaction fees. So in a nutshell, we take 5% transaction fee and 5% on all the transacted value within the OrbifY platform, in the metaverse layer and in the social NFT layer. So whether people are trading, are purchasing or selling brand NFTs, any kind of virtual collectibles, skins, avatars, but the main interesting part is the upper layer, which is the social NFTs. The in-metaverse transaction fees here, going back to the example, where we are organizing the virtual concert with 50 Cent or the actual branded experience with Danny Trejo, the Hollywood actor. We do have also something really, really cool, and thanks to Spark Capital that I believe are some of the representatives here, is with the World Cup. So we're actually deploying the one of the official World Cup metaverse experiences next month. So it's pretty exciting. It will have as well its own social NFT. So we're pretty excited about that. Just like a lot of stuff to take care of, but we're on the right track. Yeah, so pretty much the way we are distributing the revenue. So it's a very, very, I would say, community owned and community controlled. So from the treasury and the OrbifY holders and the OrbifY Impact DAO. So you can learn more, you can get more info in our wiki, which is very, very well detailed. So no need for tokenomics now. You can check it out later. But we're pretty much, animation might sound grand, but through our model and through all the mediums that we have with whether through our growth hacking tools or the brands and celebrities that we have, because the ones I showed you are just like literally the tip of the iceberg. The ones that we are still need to be confirmed are just mind blowing. So they will help us a lot in terms of getting that mainstream adoption. So it's very close. It is upon us. We're very confident and appreciate you for your time. In terms of our team, we're all remote. Literally all spread around the globe. Yes, so feel free to reach out. This is my email. This is my Telegram. Any questions? And all the questions you have. And we're doing stuff.
Sounds good. Thank you for the presentation. Very impressive. I actually love Danny Trejo, and I went to his taco shop in LA last time I went.
Really? Yeah. We're actually, speaking of Trejo's tacos, because it was like, okay, so if you put them in Metaverse, just make sure you put Trejo's tacos. Like, you got that.
Yeah, I mean, it was good tacos, but I like his acting better, and his backstory is fascinating. Right. We do have a couple questions from the guests today. One of them being, is there any other influencers and KOLs joined so far?
So I'd say, the way we approach things is that it's two main things, right? So for the mainstream adoption, we refer them as, we only work with celebrities as influencers. And those are the big ones. So the ones that I've showed from Doja Cat, 50 Cent, Danny, just like the tip of the iceberg. Thankfully, with Triller, they have a lot on their pipeline, so we have already good partnership with them. So the good thing is that I won't be able to disclose all the names, but names that you will be very, very familiar with, mostly from Hollywood and music and sports. In terms of other types of influencers, of course, all the Web3 and crypto stuff. So yeah, we do work with a bunch from the NFT space and from the regular crypto environment. And we are, of course, deploying them the corresponding time. But the way we are positioning ourselves is that, we want to make sure that from the get-go, we are the type that are different, that are mostly doing impressive and with the right positioning, I would say, procedures, right? And I would just like to put on a good example with the Bored Ape. The only way why they got this big is when Steph Curry and all those guys started acquiring them, and it just creates this cascade. We were very aware of that since the moment we started, and that's why we started working on that and utilizing, thankfully, all the network that we have. And yeah, we're on the right track. We have a lot of challenges to come, but it's exciting.
Yeah, very impressive. We do have some interest in asking about your funding rounds right now. Do you want to talk a little bit more about where you guys are?
Yes, so absolutely. So we are raising our seed round. So anyone interested, of course, just like Demi, we can chat in details about that. So we are raising 2.1 at a 21 million valuation. We have actually started fundraising, I would say, at about May, which was the worst time to start fundraising. So thankfully, we got some soft commitments. We already raised about 200K, and the team ourselves, we put in 150 from our own pockets before we started. That's pretty much very transparent. And yeah, we're still looking forward to closing it soon. So if anyone is interested, please DM me. We're open, and yeah, we're getting it.
Great. I have another question about your NFTs, which is about how to prevent people from stealing identities. How can I, for example, if I want to pretend to be a famous artist and sell NFTs on your platform, but I don't have the IP on, how do you prevent that from happening?
Exactly, great question. And that's, to be honest, that's one of the challenges we are carefully preparing for. So one of the main ways is that we are pretty much, we are utilizing the same model as OpenSea or other big NFT marketplaces. There will be frauds. For us, is how fast do we act on them, and just how fast do we onboard the right ones. So pretty much the way we want to deal with is through official, basically the blue check things on Twitter. So all the actually official ones, and it's actually one of the tools we want to utilize to actually grow with the audience real quick, is to enable any kind of famous artists, just public personalities, public IPs, to just make sure they lock in their social NFT, is that so that they will have to verify themselves via their Twitter account, their Instagram account, and that pretty much they will enable to get their blue check as verified. Of course, we'll have to act very fast on all the other, between brackets, frauds. And of course, it's a problem we'll be dealing with. The more we grow and the more audience will be generated, just like how fast we act. And yeah, we are quite well prepared for that already. Yeah.
Sounds good. We have a couple more questions, but do you mind if I forward them to you offline, just because we're at time?
At time, yeah, absolutely, yeah. For sure.
Great. All right, so that was our last presentation today. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoy the demos and all the Q&As. All the projects presenting today are open to funding right at this moment. So we will be sharing a link to a form where you can provide your contact information, and we can facilitate the connections between the investors and these projects, and you guys can move on to the next steps at your own pace. So our backstage host will post that link now, and we'll also send out communications to your inbox after this event, and you can get that link from there as well. I do want to give a big shout out to all our co-hosts today, which are available on our poster. That includes KuCoin, Hashkey, SNZ, Spark Digital, Byte Trade, Coin, Cabin VC, AC Capital, and Geek Cartel, and our media partners presenting on our poster today as well. Thank you very much for your time and your patience with our technical issues, and we will do this again in a month. So thank you all, and especially the presenters. Thank you for your time as well. I know we can accommodate all the working hours in your time zone, so really appreciate you bearing with us. All right, that's it. We will be in touch after this and talk to you guys soon.